Hello everyone, my name is Melinda Hart. You are watching Stamping with Hart. I am an independent demonstrator with Stampin Up, and today we are going to be playing around with an alternate way that you can use your banners pick-a-punch. Okay, so in the last 2 weeks, I've been doing some alternate ideas with the other pick-a-punch, which is the Lovely Labels pick-a-punch. That one's in the annual catalog. This one is in our mini catalog from August to December. So let me just show you that really quickly. It's this catalog here. You can find it on page 65, and they also have an index in the back if you need to look it up. So it's right here. This is the Banners Pick-a-Punch. Today specifically, we are going to be making partial banners. So these are half banners, okay? And they're going to be at the 1-inch size. So let's go ahead and get started. The traditional way that you would use your banners pick-a-punch, I have the 3 different sizes here. So we have a 1/2 inch, a 3/4 inch, and a 1-inch size. It's the 1-inch size we're going to be focusing on today. I'll tell you why. And there are 2 different options that you have with your banners. This one and this one. Okay, so I did one of each side just so that you could see what they look like. And of course you could combine them if you want. But what you would do is you would feed it in this way. That's the traditional way to feed it into the punch. You would wait until it hit the tip of the metal base and you would punch. Now I've already punched this one, but I just wanted to show you how it would work in a traditional sense. What we're going to do is we're going to feed it in through the side. Now this is very similar if you'd seen my other tip videos. If you have not, with the Lovely Labels Pick-a-Punch, I will link them. But we're going to be working from the side today. All right, so I have my paper trimmer here. We are going to line this up to the 2 for the 2-inch mark. We're going to cut, and this is going to work just like this. So you're going to take this, feed it right in through the side. Okay, we're going to turn this around so we can see what we're doing here. Actually, let me go this way because I'm just used to doing it this way. Either way is fine, but I think I'm just used to doing it. I'm used to lining it up in this corner. So what we're doing is I am trying to get this piece of white paper right to the edge of this banner. Okay, and you can see on this punch, it's a little bit different than the Lovely Labels. We have a little bit of a thinner line here, but this is how we know that we're lined up evenly, and we're going to go ahead and punch. Okay, and we're just going to keep doing that all the way down. So I'm just going to keep going here, lining it up right to the inner edge of this banner, making sure that thin line is looking good, and I'm going to punch. Just going to keep going. Now I'm working with a 12 by 12 sheet of Whisper White, but you could also do this with 8.5 by 11. You just won't get as many banners, and that's okay. You still get a bunch. So either way, it works. Lining up my last one. The last one's always the trickiest, so we're just going to hand hold that so we can get that thin line. There we go. All right, and we're going to punch. So let me just tell you a few things here. Now, the focus, the thing, if you're going to do a banner in this way so that you can get multiples all at one time, your focus is always going to be this center. So whether it's the outie or the innie, okay, this is the 1/2 inch mark if you're doing 1-inch measurements. Okay, so there's 1 inch, here's 1 inch, here's 1 inch. And that's good to know if you're lining up your stamps, okay? Now, you could do this a couple of different ways. Here is an example of one. Let me show you, this one's probably easier. Here's an example of one that I scored it so that I could keep track of those 1-inch spaces. Okay, so here's 1 inch, here's 1 inch. Okay, and the whole point of that was, well, one, to show you the guides and the lines that we have just a little bit of spacing in between each banner. And if you wanted to be able to actually just easily see something when you're cutting them out, whether you're cutting them with scissors or whether you're using your trimmer, or we had like a little mini guillotine, just depending on which one you're using, you know, this will give you a guide. Now, it's not necessary to do that, and I'll show you what I mean. So I'm going to take one, and we're going to stamp this a couple of different ways. So you can either stamp it sideways, just like we did here with special delivery. And these are hand stamped. You can see they're not 100% even here. I didn't get them all perfect. But you could do them this way, or you could do them this way. You could actually do them, I guess, up to if you want, just depending on your design. But these are like our two traditional banner, where you can either do them this way or you could do them this way. All right, so you're either going to stamp a bunch one way or the other. There's a few different ways that you could do that. You could use an individual block, okay, and just stamp all the way down. And what you would do is line up your stamp with that piece. So either that inner spot or the outer. And that will be your guide to know that you're within that 1-inch banner, so that when you cut them all out, it's nice and even. Now, another way that you could do this is you could put multiple stamps on a block, okay? And this is if you prefer working with the block. And you can stamp them like this. And what you'll do is line them up with that middle piece right there, okay? So can you see that? Here and here, it hits right on those. And then you can do it in twos, okay? Now there's actually room for 2 more stamps here, so you could actually do up to 4 and just lay your stamp on the paper, pick it up with your block, and then stamp. And you can also do this with the Stamparatus. So I'm going to show you both ways. We're going to stamp like this. We're going to stamp with our little individual piece, and we're also going to use our Stamparatus. All right, so I'm going to grab cinnamon cider. Okay, here's an example of the card. So this is cinnamon cider here, okay? And then we have real red on the upper part, and we're also going to be using our Stampin' Spot in the basic black for the Halloween banners. But let's just show you a couple of different ways here. So the first one, we're going to use the 2 stamps on the block. Would help if they were the right way up, right? Okay, and then I'm just going to ink and stamp. So again, I'm going for the points. Since this is a half banner, I'm not going to focus on that one. Okay. Okay, so I have my real red ink here and my special delivery stamp, and I am just going to go right down the line, and I'm focusing on that middle piece. Not 100% perfect, but still so fast and easy if you need to make multiple banners at once. And I'll show you how to cut these out in just a moment. But let me show you the Stamparatus as well. Okay, so here is our Stamparatus. And if you're curious about which stamp sets I am using today, on the Stamparatus right now, we have a combination of Hallows Night Magic and Ghoulish Goodies. The reason why I want to mention this is because you want to make sure they're both cling sets because they're different heights from photopolymer to the cling. So if you tried doing, you know, some photopolymer and some cling, they wouldn't all pick up evenly because these have a cushion and the photopolymers do not. So just make sure that whatever it is that you're using, it's either all photopolymers or all clings. Okay. The other ones that we are using are the special delivery stamp from Wishes and Wonder. And then this is I Like You, a Latte, Eat, Drink, and Be Cozy are from Warm Hugs. Okay, so all we're going to do is, again, focusing on these centers. All right, we're just going to lay down stamps just like this. Get it to where we want it. And then pick it up with our plate. Okay, so we're going to pick them up with the plate. I'm going to take the black. Let's use the basic black of the archival Stampin' Spot. Okay, I'm just going to ink these up. Okay, so I'm just going to bring this down. We're going to ink these. All right, and then those are looking a little on the light side, so I'm just going to re-ink these. That's the amazing thing about the Stamparatus. I love this tool so much. Okay. All right, so that's perfect. Okay, so we have our banner here. Now, one thing that you could do, okay, is literally just hold, this is if you don't have your measurements or everything down and you kind of need to remember your mark. You can save it here and just flip it, okay? But one thing I wanted to mention is if you have this little half banner piece and you're using your Stamparatus, you may just want to trim this off so that when you stamp again, when you stamp, you know, you stamp the other side, you don't have that half piece there unless you would want a half a piece, okay? So let me just trim that off really quickly. Just going to use that as a marker. Okay, so here is this side, and then we need 1, 2, 3, 4 for this side. So if we flip it and we do 4 on the other side, let's just line this up and see how this looks. You can just get that to where that works for you. Okay. And then we would only ink 4 of the 5. If I line this up here, okay, so if I'm at the 1/2 inch and if I'm on the line, I can close this. Move that a little. Close this and cut. Okay, and then you can see we have like a little inch. So what we're going to do is we're going to line this up with this 1/2 inch. Get it to the line and cut. Okay. Looking for the 1 inch, for the 1/2 inch, the line, and cut. Okay, and then we would do the same with these. So that is basically how you do it. This is a cool alternate way to use this if you need to do a lot of stamping. If you are confident enough to just snip them at the lines, I say go for it. If you'd rather use your trimmer, go for it, whatever works for you. All right, thank you so much and have a great day.